Paul, you actually described yourself in an interesting way. You said the prostate cancer guy.
Yeah, the prostate cancer guy. That's not a title that you typically would go around and say, "Hey, I'm the prostate cancer guy."
I know.
Yeah.
My goodness. First of all, tell our listeners who are not familiar
No problem.
with what you do at WRDE.
Okay, well, I am actually the bilingual chief meteorologist for Coast TV, WRDE, and Telemundo simultaneously.
Okay.
So Telemundo 42 for Telemundo 42.
Right.
And I've been there since 2019, and we've been building a very strong presence on the coast of Delaware for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
I had originally had some heart problems in my past before I arrived here. I had literally 6 heart attacks, and I actually died once. That's a whole another show.
How old are you?
I am.
You know, I mean, young.
Well,
You're
that.
too young to be having heart attacks.
Well, they say black don't crack, but it'll still have a heart attack, right? So anyway, but what it is I'm 57 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 57 years old, and I was having heart problems. And my cardiologist just recommended randomly that I take a blood test, which is one thing I'm going to say right now. All men should take what is called a PSA blood test. Now, that is a prostate specific antigen, PSA blood test.
Yeah.
That way, because a lot of time we as guys, we really don't want to talk about prostate.
Right.
Because prostate exams usually mean you got a finger in your woohoo.
Yeah.
That's an embarrassing thing, and we don't want to talk about that as men. And I understand it because I are one man, right? But but this blood test is invasive, doesn't involve any of that kind of examination, and it indicates whether you have possible cancer in your body. Here's the thing you got to remember, Dan. This is the most insidious thing a man can deal with, because if you don't feel anything, you don't think anything's wrong, because we're guys. We are programmed to be providers, fighters. If you're not in pain, if you're not halfway dead, we don't want to hear about it, right? This disease does not have symptoms. If you start feeling something, the horse is already out of the barn. So
Yeah, too late.
That's true.
How do they do this radiation?
So you go to the hospital. I actually ended up going to Baltimore, to Johns Hopkins.
Okay.
And this was during COVID.
Right.
Okay. So I was quite fortunate to even get in.
Right.
So they bring you in, they put you on this table, they have this big old thing that goes around and it radiates, and it targets specifically where that prostate cancer is. And because, exactly, it's very narrow. And see, it used to be a big thing, they'd flash your whole body cavity.
Right.
But now they've gotten so good at it.
It's like laser focus.
It's extremely laser focused, where they put permanent stickers on your hips and stuff like that.
Right.
And so that every time you sit down on the table, you're in the exact same place, they hit the exact same location.
Yeah.
And I ended up having 40 on my prostate, but then I had 6 more on my hip bone, because there was a bit of a spread that happened. And they said, well, let's zap it, let's microwave that, just to make sure. To be treated, you have to first take these drugs that drop your testosterone levels to 0. This is really how I became a prostate cancer guy. When a man loses all of his testosterone, you know what I actually literally went through? I literally went through menopause, sweats, weight gain, food, all that. But if you don't do that, okay, prostate cancer thrives on testosterone. 1 out of 8 men are diagnosed with prostate cancer. And I have to bring this up. And 1 out of 6 black men. This is how insidious this is. This is the irony of it, Dan. The more manly of a man you are, the more likely you are to suffer from it if you don't have that test.
And nobody wants, I get it.
Nobody wants
a blood test. Which I'm going to think about after this.
You better do it, brother. Do it, because your family needs you here, man. You are not expendable. You are one of the most important resources of your family as a provider and protector. There are literally men who have decided it's too much of a cost for my family. It's better for me to die, and they get my life insurance. That's how dismal it can be, But that's why it was important for me to organize this walk, which is going to be on September the 29th at Cape Henlopen State Park. And you can get the information by going to coasttv.com, or you can go directly to the walk at prostatecancer.org. And what we're going to provide for folks at the walk is we're going to provide free screenings for you, so you can figure out where you can go get a PSA test. Okay. We have it for those men who speak English and Spanish, for the red. We're going to have gift packages that will not only, give you some bands and some swag or whatever, but it's going to be a brochure that basically mimics all the information I had to grab from different parts of the internet and stuff, and I consolidated it into one brochure of information so you don't have to search everywhere for all this different information. And the money that's raised, that after we finish paying for the walk, because I had no idea this stuff costs so much to do, but the money we have left over, and I'm going to take some money personally anyway, and donate it to the Delaware Prostate Cancer Coalition. They help with spreading information about prostate cancer throughout the state.
How often do you get a PSA test now?
I have to get one every 3 months now. Now that I'm in recovery.
What's your level?
I am now at a 0.7.
Okay. That would be okay. Certainly under 2. You told me 2.
That's right. But that's called hallelujah level.
Yeah.
When you start celebrating and say, yes, that
Has it
works.
stayed consistent?
It has thus far. You know, I got a little spooked at first. Actually, no, I'm wrong. The first time it was 0.7. Then I took it again, and it was 0.6, which is good. Yeah. And like when you get to a 1.5, 1.2, they start monitoring. Now, if you have a surgery and they remove the prostate, it should be at 0.
Right.
So I still have my prostate. But if you have a prostate removal or prostatectomy, and you still go up, that means that prostate cancer moved to another part of your body and is now growing.
You've been a tremendous guest, a great advocate for health, and an eye-opener for all men. And for me.
PSA test with your yearly examinations. Hey, only wimps don't get PSA tests.
Thanks, Paul. 8:52.